This is the third in a 4-part series of D&D stories that I have decided to call The Ballad of Mack Wilde, focusing on different characters from a fun campaign I was a part of when I was in college. Now, one thing I haven't really gone over yet was how this campaign began. At the start of the campaign, a group of unrelated mercenaries were hired by General Bobby Walters, see the Diggs video, to act as bodyguards for Juliana Keenseer, a DMPC cleric. Normally, I hate DMPCs and want them to die, especially all of the DMPCs they featured in my early campaigns, but Juliana was sad and friendly, and as a result, the party had an overwhelming urge to protect. She was a cinnamon roll, a term I am only using because this is a story about something that happened in 2019. Fuck me, 2019 was 4 years ago. That feels wrong. Anyway, Juliana's bodyguards included Mack Wilde, an edgy bard who was way less cool than he thinks, Diggs, a big fucking dragon guy who was so goddamn weird, some other good characters who don't get their own videos because life isn't fair, and the subject of this video, Dipo. Dipo was his only name, despite all of the jokes I made about his last name secretly being Home. Now I'm going to describe Dipo. He was the first character this guy ever played. He was a tiefling. He was a rogue. The title of this video is The Murder Hobo's Betrayal. I'm gonna let you take a few guesses as to what type of character Dipo was. That's right, Dipo was a cringy, edgy, wannabe main character with a 10-page backstory and a loose moral compass and... oh wait, that was my character. No, Dipo was a murder hobo. A murder hobo, to quote Wiktionary, is a character who wanders the game world, unattached to any community, indiscriminately killing and looting. And I'm gonna be honest, I fucking hate murder hobos. Like, there is nothing worse than starting a campaign with the classic, you all meet in a tavern opening. Then a guy comes up to give you the plot hook and the rogue just shouts, I stab him and take his money. Or you meet with the plot relevant character and they shout, what in the room can I steal? The DM worked hard on this, okay? Shut up and stop making the game all about you. To be fair, this character I'm talking about, Dipo, towed the line of murder hobodom. And honestly, I really enjoyed playing with this player. I feel like some elements of murder hobos can work. Having a loose moral compass can work. Being edgy can work. But the trait that makes murder hobos unbearable is the apathy. Apathy to the game's story, to the characters in that story, to the other members of the party, and to the other players of the game. I don't like murder hobos because they actively derail the parts of the game that I find fun. Dipo, to his credit, got along with the rest of the party, let the story progress, and had an actual character arc. Now, let's begin at the start of that arc. Dipo and the rest of the party were hired to bodyguard Juliana the cleric. Right away, Dipo introduces himself by picking up a piece of candy from a bowl on her desk and eating it. Seductively. The player was asked if they took the wrapper off first, and they said no. They said, I eat it, wrapper and all, seductively. Juliana politely turned Dipo down. Dipo eating candies seductively to hit on Juliana became a running gag. Eventually the fighter got so sick of it, he put a mousetrap in the candy bowl. Dipo reached in, broke his fingers, and didn't flinch. He pulled the candy out, mousetrap still on his finger, and ate it. Seductively. Later that day, Dipo decided to go find and join the Thieves Guild. Mack went along because why not? The two of them went up to a guard and Dipo politely said, hello, we want to commit crimes. Where's the Thieves Guild? My character cringed. The guard, a young, kinda handsome guy named Derek, got kinda nervous and began to back away. Mack cast Charm Person on him to calm him down and asked if he knew where the Thieves Guild was. Derek said no. Mack and Dipo shared a brief look and then both of them immediately began stabbing. In hindsight, Mack Wilde was a bit of a murder hobo too. Or edgy character with a weak moral compass and main character syndrome, which is like a murder hobo, but you care about the plot. Trust me, Mack Wilde gets better in part 4 of this series. I don't remember who stabbed first, not that it really matters. In Mack's head, they've just told a cop that they want to commit crimes and also use mind control magic on him, both of which are really illegal things to do. As for Dipo, man, I don't know. Fortunately for Derek, Diggs showed up, saved him, cured his wounds, and made him promise to to keep his mouth shut about the whole stabbing thing. Mack and Dipo were actually a pretty good pair. Both of them had that chaotic, crime-happy energy, as did Mavis, the party's other rogue, who I don't have much else to say about right now. The party frequently stopped by this shop that had two entrances. One sold useless trinkets, like a pillow with Diggs' cousin, or World's Best Dad keychain that Mack bought as a joke. The other sold expensive magic items the party couldn't afford. These three murder hobo adjacent characters frequently attempted to rob this magic store, and failed horribly. I don't remember specifically, but I think they failed because we overcomplicated things. Like, okay, I'll scout out while invisible, then Mavis will cause a distraction in the trinket half, then Dipo will run in and grab the items, then Diggs will be waiting outside in the getaway car, and we can buy explosives to take out the south wall, and I can detonate them when Mavis gives the signal, and Rose can keep a lookout from the book depository across the street, and it all just fell apart. The party failed at a lot of things, come to think of it. So much that Juliana gave them a name inspired by an archaic synonym for blunder. Boner Squad. D&D is dumb sometimes. Mack's item of choice to steal was a bag of holding. But Dipo had another target. Sitting in the back of the shop, locked in a black chest that glowed with a dark purple aura, was a cursed black and red sword. +3, but it was cursed so that you could never drop the sword, and if you went 24 hours without killing someone, you would die. Dipo really wanted the sword. Put a pin in that. As the party was walking home one night, Dipo spotted Derek in the distance. Their eyes locked. Slowly, Dipo reached into his pocket and pulled out a piece of candy. He put it in his mouth and ate it, seductively. Wrapper and all. Derek blushed. Okay. Over the course of these dumb, meandering adventures, the party spent a lot of time with their charge, Juliana. When they met her, she was very depressed, living alone in a big house without any friends. Slowly, as they shared meals, played games, and seductively ate candy, they began to form a real bond with her. Big found family vibes. And eventually, Juliana began to smile again. Then, one night, Bobby Walters sent an assassin to murder Juliana. Now, you may be asking, why did he hire her bodyguards first? So anyway, the party saved Juliana, beat up the assassin, and interrogated him. When the assassin told them everything he knew, Juliana walked up, placed her hand on his face, and killed him with inflict wounds. Afterwards, Juliana explained everything. A few years prior, a fire djinn named Raziel the Unequaled killed the royal family and took control of the country of Acheron. By the way, the country this took place in was called Acheron. Raziel demanded that all of the local clerics worshipped him. Juliana, head cleric of the wind goddess Oral, initially hesitated. So Raziel ordered executions of her wife and son. Afterwards, Juliana bent the knee and kept her head down. Juliana recruited the party as bodyguards, specifically in hopes that they would have anti-government sentiments and help her kill Raziel. And the crime-loving party were down with that! Every member of the group, upon hearing Juliana's plight, swore they would avenge her family. Anyway, the party began working to overthrow Raziel. They carried out the Walters Gate break-in I talked about in the last part. It took me 4 years to come up with that joke, and learned blueprints for the palace were held in a military base. To sneak into the base, the party needed guard uniforms. Dipo had an idea. Mack, Dipo, and the ranger, Rose, went to the apartment of Derek the guard, the one Dipo stabbed, who kinda had a crush on Dipo because Dipo ate a piece of candy once. Derek timidly let Dipo in, and they just talked. Derek told Dipo he always wanted to be an actor, but Raziel shut down the theaters. Dipo asked Derek to perform a short scene, and Derek was actually a good actor. Dipo said it was amazing. And while this was going on, Mack and Rose stole all of Derek's clothes. Dipo opened up to Derek. He told them that they were working to overthrow Raziel, and that he hoped they would succeed because in that world, Derek would be able to follow his dreams. He gave Derek a peck on the cheek and told him, "Let's get dinner sometime." The trio stepped out of the apartment, and Dipo's players said 5 words I will never forget. and now I ghost him! Dipo did not go on another date with Derek. The party snuck into the base, only to find the blueprints were guarded by dragons. The party fought the dragons, almost dying, before 10 turns in, remembering that Diggs spoke Draconic. Blueprints in hand, they stormed through a secret entrance to the palace, killed some guards with a Speedo, helped Mack get over his daddy issues, and finally fought Raziel the Unequaled. They won. I don't remember the fight much, but I know they won. As Raziel the Unequaled died, Oral, goddess of wind, appeared before Juliana to praise her and the party for the victory. Dipo, slowly, reached into his pocket and pulled out a piece of candy and attempted to seduce a god. I shouldn't have to explain that he failed. Now, that was the end of the first arc of the campaign. The second half took place 5 years later. When the party reunited, Juliana took them to see a play as entertainment. In the starring role was Derek, now the country's most acclaimed actor. Dipo quietly watched the play. When it was over, he walked backstage to Derek's dressing room. He left a single rose. That night, Derek showed up at Juliana's, completely fucking pissed. What the hell? You ghost me? Don't talk to me for 5 goddamn years to leave me a rose? What the hell does that mean? I love you and I want to get together. Fuck off! You missed your chance! And then Derek stormed off, hoping to never see Dipo again. Anyway, Juliana gave the party a new mission, tracking down the lost princess of Acheron so she could be crowned queen. Dipo jumped at this new quest because if he saved the monarchy, that'd impress Derek. The party headed out to the countryside, buying lemonade from sweet old ladies as they traveled. One day, the party stopped by a small inn for breakfast. The bartender, a goblin named Boglin, mentioned that it was his 30th birthday. Dipo said, "You know what that means? Birthday slaps!" His player then said something that radically reshaped the rest of the campaign. I slapped Boglin once for every birthday. Commoners in 5e have 4 hit points on average. Unarmed strikes do 1 plus your strength modifier damage. Dipo's player, not thinking, proclaimed that he hit this bartender 30 times. So anyway, Dipo beat Boglin to death. The party stared at him, horrified. Guards showed up, Dipo ran, and the party didn't follow after. Dipo's player, admittedly, realized how big of a fuck-up this was. He rolled a new character, a monk named Dagobah, who was chill and loyal and never did any murder hobo things. Periodically, as the party searched for the lost princess, the DM asked Dipo's player what he was up to. During Dipo's solo adventures, he met Boglin's nephew Foglin, kidnapped Foglin, returned to the capital, and sent a letter to the party asking them to come back because he'd found the lost princess. The party returned to find Dipo standing outside Derek's house, drunk. Sitting next to him was a tied-up goblin boy wearing a pink dress and a cardboard crown, sobbing. Dipo shouted, "Hey Derek! I found the lost princess. I'm a hero, so you have to date me now." The party untied Foglin and arranged for him to be taken home. Dipo, both meanings of the word pissed, stumbled back to the magic shop. He barged in, punched the owner in the face, stole his keys, and opened the chest with the cursed sword. Dipo showed up at Juliana's house, wielding the cursed blade. The party was horrified, but Dipo didn't care. He said, It's fine, I just want to party." He pulled a candy out of his pocket, stuck it in his mouth, and choked on it. Coughing, he asked Dagobah, "Am I sexy to you?" Dagobah backed away and Dipo kissed him. Dagobah, rightfully angry, punched Dipo in the face. Dipo stabbed him in the chest. The party ganged up on Dipo, beating him down. He got angry. "We were friends!" he shouted. You ditched me! You made a promise and you fucking ditched me!" Dipo fell to single-digit health. Mack and Mavis stood before him, rapiers drawn. "Do it," Dipo spat. "Fucking do it." "All right," Max said. He stepped to the side, revealing Diggs. His staff pointed at Dipo. Voice booming, Diggs shouted the command word. "Be gone! Foot!" Dipo was banished to hell. His cursed sword clattered to the ground. Mack returned it, having his unseen servant carry it back, and the party went back to their quest. The thing about murder hobos is that they are defined by their separation from the game world, from other characters, from consequences, and often from other players. But the thing is, those connections are what makes role-playing games special. You can't have it both ways. You can't be part of this emotional story about a found family, protecting each other from those who've hurt them, and also be a chaotic wildcard who kills randomly to be lol random. Dipo's player made the right choice, writing Dipo out of the campaign. After Dipo was banished, the rest of the party strove to be better, to abandon their own murder hobo tendencies, lest they end up like Dipo. There is one more piece to this story. In the final part of this miniseries, I'll return to the character of Mack Wilde. I'll talk about his backstory, his relationship with his father, his friendship with the rest of Boner Squad, and his death.